Hello. It is Gregory here, and I just recently got a question about what do you do when you screw up your diet? In actuality, in this case, this person has been like on a 4-day, almost like a food binge. They feel really guilty, and actually, a matter of fact, they were actually their idea of dieting was like eating perfectly clean. So they said, "Oh, I was eating really clean for months and months, and now I couldn't take it, and I won this binge." And that's the first thing that you have to understand is that. How do you define, screwing up your diet? Because, back in the day, the way we defined dieting was pretty much eating only these clean foods. And whatever that is, maybe for some people it's low carb, maybe for other people it's low fat, maybe it's vegan, whatever it is. So like that used to be like the main dieting style to get lean. But we've evolved from that because we've learned that getting lean comes down to that caloric deficit, and the best way to hit your body fat goals is to find the most enjoyable way to sustain that calorie deficit. Taking breaks, making sure to get sufficient protein, balance of fats and macros, doing refeeds when you need them, taking care to eat at maintenance. This just makes dieting so enjoyable and then eating the foods that really satisfy you, and so on and so forth, and then fitting in the desserts that you really love and enjoy, and the desserts you can eat in moderation. I do great eating chocolate in my diet, and it satisfies me, and it like dissolves all my cravings, and it keeps me a lot more satisfied on a lower calorie diet. But that's neither here nor there. So I mean, when you come from this frame of mind, you don't really get into the cheat episodes as often. You don't screw up your diet as often because it's enjoyable. If your diet's painful, you're going to screw up a lot more often. Especially if you try and only eat these clean foods, and you have to resist these cravings for the stuff you want, whether it's chocolate or cookies or ice cream, what have you. So it's really important that you start to structure your diet in a way that is as enjoyable as possible while focusing on what matters. Now let's go beyond that, because I assume most people watching this video are already doing that. They understand that they can enjoy a great diet, do intermittent fasting, eat big meals, fit in desserts, hit their calories and macros. But still, you're gonna have days where you screw up your diet. You're gonna have days when you go over your calories, days when you mess up. Maybe you went out and you ate dinner at your friends, and then you just went completely overboard. And this all happens. And I'm gonna give you my little strategy on how to deal with this. And it's not anything super complicated. It's actually quite simple. You see, the biggest problem that happens is when people screw up a bit. Maybe they go over their calories, and all of a sudden, like the day is messed up. The biggest mistake people make is they make themselves feel really guilty. They make themselves feel incredibly guilty. And what does guilt ever do? Guilt only makes you eat more. In fact, they've done studies, and the research is clear on this. When you make someone feel guilty for eating something, they actually tend to eat a lot more. They had two groups of people in this one study where they got them to eat like a sugar donut, and then for one group they said, "Oh, you know what? You totally deserve that. That's great. It's not a big deal at all. Like everyone, enjoys desserts once in a while." But then the other group, they scolded them and they scoffed at them, like, "Why would you eat that? It's so unhealthy. You're so bad." And then they took them to a buffet afterwards, and the group that got scolded ate far more calories than the group that actually got positive encouragement. So the biggest mistake that people make is when they screw up a little bit, they feel like they failed, that they just destroy themselves and beat themselves up over and over again. And when you beat yourself up, all it does is it gets you to eat more and more. So, a little mistake where maybe you went over your diet by 300 calories or 400, 500 calories, it's not that big a deal. By tomorrow, you'll be back to square one in one day. It's not a big deal. Maybe, it's almost beneficial sometimes to go over your calories because, it's helpful for, muscle growth and helpful for burning up leptin. So, having days here and there where you kind of go a little higher than you should is actually quite beneficial. I actually listen to my body. That's what I do to get lean, where I'll have targets, I'll go for them, but if I'm really hungry, I'll go over a little bit. That's fine. But the big mistake people make is they screw up, they go over a little bit, and then they feel guilty, like, why did I do that? And then they decide, and then they can't control themselves. Now they go into a full-out binge, like, oh, you know what, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day. And so they turn that little, almost maybe even a beneficial they turn the little beneficial mistake of going over a little bit, but that still is beneficial because it gives your body, calories that help, bring up your metabolism, help, with training. So they turn that into this full-on binge where they went 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calories over their calories and macros, which is hard to undo, especially for women, because women burn much less calories than men. And when you go to restaurants, there's not a male menu and a female menu, there's just one menu. So when girls screw up, this can really, really do some serious damage as far as getting back to where they want it to be. So what I recommend is two things. When you screw up, you have to stop beating yourself up. You need to accept the present moment and say, you know what? I messed up my diet. I screwed up, but you know what? It's the past. I can't change it. I can only move on and move on in the best possible way. So you just accept it and you say, look, I'm only human. This happens. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes, and then you just try and enjoy that day, you know? So if you screwed up a little bit, then just enjoy the fact that you got to eat a bit more, a few more calories. See, the craziest thing to me is the fact that when people screw up and they have like this glorious day of eating, they're not happy. They feel miserable. They feel depressed. They feel like shit. They feel like they're horrible human beings. So even when they eat more, they feel just as bad as when they're trying to diet strictly. So when you do go over, enjoy it, you know, revel in it. Be like, you know what, I messed it up, and just enjoy it, and then stop feeling guilty and start to really get into your body. Start to really feel, like, you know, get inside your body. So often we get in this state of just craving entertainment, and our mind is like craving entertainment, and we're stuck in the ego, and so we don't even know what our body needs. We're just chasing satisfaction in our minds. So when you do screw up, just, step away, go for a nice walk, or relax, say, you know what, it happens, it's cool. And then you try and learn from it and try and find out exactly what happened that triggered you to screw up your diet and go over your calories. So maybe, for example, you went to have cheese nachos and you thought you could fit cheese nachos into your calories and macros, but you ended up just not being satisfied and you wanted to eat more, and you just need more and more cheese nachos. So then then what you say is, look, you write this down and say, you know what, I screwed up my diet today. What I learned today is that it's really hard for me to eat cheese nachos in my diet or whatever. Or, maybe you tried to cook some meal and it just wasn't satisfying, so you ate this meal and it didn't do it for you, and now you're looking for other food. So just try and stop beating yourself up and learn from it. And then, as far as like, oh my God, I went over, now tomorrow I gotta do extra cardio and I gotta do less calories, do not do that. Do not fall into the mistake of the trap of, when you screw up a little bit, of punishing yourself the next day with less calories and more cardio, because that will only trigger more binge episodes. You should just go on to the next day as planned. Never change it. When people start to punish themselves for bad days of eating, that's what actually triggers the reoccurring screw-up days. So always just follow it as scheduled the next day, and just constantly learn about what works best for you, what doesn't. I mean, I had times where if I try to eat a little bit of cookies in my diet, I would always want more cookies, and I'd go and I'd take out more cookies. Or if I had ice cream, a lot of times I just want another bowl. And so one of the things I did was, if I wanted to eat some ice cream in my diet, I'd just take it up to my bed before I went to bed, and I'd eat it in my bed, which was hilarious. But then I would be fine. I wouldn't go downstairs. But that's actually why I love chocolate, because chocolate, it satisfies me. Like a nice high quality organic chocolate bar, I eat it and I do have no more cravings for more, typically. And the cool thing about this, what it does is it trains you to learn how to eat like an awesome diet and stay lean. Because you know what? It trains you to, when you screw up a little bit, you actually learn how to stop yourself. So you stop yourself probably at maintenance, or maybe a little bit before. And so now I can go and I can get lean. I don't have to track my calories or my macros. I just kind of guide myself. You want to develop the skill set to be in charge and in control. So that's really what I recommend if you screw up your diet. Stop yourself from feeling guilty. You do not want to feel guilty. It's the past. You can't change it. Accept it. Learn from it. And realize that everyone screws up. Even me, who has this fitness channel, who writes books, who does videos. I screw up maybe as much as you, maybe more. It happens. But it's not really a screw up if it's just a little bit. It's actually okay. And then, then get back on track the next day and really learn from it. And anyway, I don't know. That's all I wanted to kind of tell you today. I think it's a really, really important lesson to learn. I think so many of these different diet experts, they never address this important phenomenon. They think that people are just gonna go on their diet and be perfect for 6 months. Yeah, right. No, everyone's gonna screw up, and not enough people address what to do if you do screw up. Sometimes people will come to me and like they'll almost say it like this should have never happened. It's like, no, of course it's gonna happen. Everyone is gonna have days they mess up. We're only human, and it happens. It's life. So it's okay to have a little screw ups. Just keep going forward. Keep going forward. Think about it. If there's 7 days in a week, and on 2 days you went 400 calories over, you're still gonna get leaner that week. So do not worry too much about it. And there was a lot of like really important little gems in this video, listening to your body, stop getting sucked up into your mind to chase entertainment, like be there, go for a walk, step away, and just learn. Like these screw-ups are a chance for you to learn so much about yourself. And when you learn more about yourself, it makes getting lean and staying lean much more easy. So that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.